Hello everyone, my name is Nick and you're watching A Thing or Two. Today we're going to make an electroluminescent airplane. Steve Ramsey at Woodworking for Mere Mortals issued a challenge to create any sort of airplane as a fundraiser for Makers Care to support the Make-A-Wish Foundation. This is just the motivation I need to create my first ever YouTube video. This is the electroluminescent wire. If you're not familiar with it, this stuff emits a soft colored light that really looks neat in the dark. We'll use this to make the outline of the airplane. Rather than just making a flat picture of an airplane, we're going to be building this up into a 3D model. First, we need to figure out the length of the electroluminescent wire, or EL wire they call it. I can't recall what length I ordered, but these are usually between 2 or 3 meters in length because of the power output of the inverters. I got this from either SparkFun or Adafruit, I can't recall, but either of these are my favorite sources for all sorts of electronic goodies like this. So it looks like this is just about 10 feet long, which is 3 meters or 118 inches. I made a rough sketch of my plane and figured out the length of it is about 1/6 of the total distance around the outline of the wing and fuselage. So this means the plane could be 20 inches long, but I'm going to use 18 inches just to be sure I have enough wire. The plane will be made out of foam board, but first let's make a template of the shapes on poster board. I already sketched this out in pencil, but I'm going over it with a Sharpie so you can see it. I used to make model airplanes when I was young, so I sort of know the general shape and characteristics I'm looking for, but you can find any image you like and make an outline of it. You really don't need a template for this, but it is handy if you want to make more than one of these. Here I'm marking the slot that the wing will go through. Just cut these out with a scissors for the next step. What we're working with here is foam board from the Dollar Tree store. Just follow the outline of the template with a cutting knife or a razor. I learned about this material for building models from the Flight Test YouTube channel, where they build and fly model airplanes. Here I'm using a piece of scrap to figure out the width of the slot that I'll need for the wing. So let's see how this fits together. Not bad, I like it. What do you think? The edges on this needed a little smoothing, so I used one of those standing foam blocks to work the edge. As I was doing it, I found out that if you hit the edge at an angle, it makes a nice white kind of bevel on the edge, and it gives a nice accent. So I did that around the entire plane. Of course, I'm not going to show you all the sanding because sanding, it's pretty boring stuff. So if you spend a little time on this, you'll end up with a nice look to it. We're ready to start assembly, but first we need to figure out how to route the wire and place the inverter. It would be nice to have the inverter centered in the fuselage. That would give it the most balanced look. But after looking at it a bit, I didn't think that would work very well because we need to get access to the batteries. So I thought that on top of a wing next to the fuselage might end up working the best. That would also give us a place to hide the dark lead of the EL wire on the top of the wing. So let's just give that a try and we'll see how it looks here. Here I tried placing it at different positions, but I think just centered right over the middle of the wing seemed to look best. What do you think? I think it looks pretty good. Okay. We're going to stick the EL wire on with hot glue, so I need to get that warmed up and we'll be ready to start putting this thing together. Okay, my glue's hot, so the first thing we need to do is just glue the wing into the fuselage here, and just running beads along the edges and just kind of make sure it's set in there square. And actually I was surprised how much that tightens up when you do that. And I put a dab of glue on the inverter and tacked that to the fuselage. So now we're ready to start putting on the EL wire. I got an awl to punch holes through the foam board. We're going to go around the wing first, starting from the inverter end, poking a hole at the leading edge of the wing here, right through the fuselage. Now I'm going to route the EL wire through that hole from the left side over to the right side of the wing. When you're pulling this, be careful not to get any sharp kinks in the wire because it can damage it. Now I'm going to plug the EL wire into the inverter and get it lit up, so it kind of helps us to visualize the glue up as we go. Excuse me while I shuffle around here. I need to keep myself seated all the time because of physical limitation that I have. But get myself positioned here, we'll be ready to go again. All right, so here I am applying some glue to the edge of the foam board. Just putting a little dab on there to give me a spot to tack it up first. And really, it's kind of a little test because I've never done this before. This foam board has some interesting characteristics when you put glue on the edge of it. I think what's happening is the air that's trapped inside the foam must expand when it gets hot, and it actually makes the hot glue sort of bubble up. It's the creepy drill press man. Man, that guy is such a tool. Okay, so here I got to my first corner, and I realized that you can't really bend the EL wire around corners like that, and I should have made this drawing with the corners rounded out. So I just kind of left the corners loose to be able to make a larger radius on the wire. It doesn't look maybe as good, but I'll know for the next one to do it the right way. So you can learn from me. This is where I realized that that nose cone was way too pointy up front for this wire to go around. So in a few seconds here, I'm going to cut that off to give a bigger radius on it. And here we're back around the fuselage to the point where the wire comes back and meets itself. And so at this point we're done with the wire. We got some left over, about 1.5 feet here, just what I calculated actually. And you just cut that off with a scissors or a wire cutter. And I'm putting a blob of glue on here. You can put a piece of tape. You just need to keep it from giving you a shock. It can give you a shock. It's not bad. It just stings a little bit at the point where you touch it. And here it is lit up. Looks pretty good. And here I'm doing a little walk around of it in the dark. Really like the looks of this thing. Obvious you're looking at the outline of a fighter airplane or a trainer, airplane. It looks really cool. Well, thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope this was helpful. And if you got any questions or comments, just let me know. Thanks.